the issue of chronic pain, which flows, if you've got this chronic pain, it's really flowing down into all this. It's two separate components I think she's dealing with. Is not only does it hurt bad, but it's exhausting her too and affecting her mood and energy, and that's why we put on that testimony. And he says, Dr. Downing, would you expect chronic pain? Yes. Dr. Baer, their own expert, I asked him, do you expect her to have pain and limitations going forward? Yes. Here's some photos. Of course, she's going to need to go through this 2 more times, right? They're going to have to open her back up, take out the clinoid, the whole process, put it all back in. All this stuff, this physical therapy, opening up the scar, sleeping on the recliner, all of these things she's got to go do again. And of course, we don't even know for sure if this infection is going to go away and what's going on for her years down the road. In the past, 2 surgeries, 3 steroid injections, the CT, the aspiration, the replacement, biopsy, 50 physical therapy appointments, 30 doctor's appointments already, right? And you know going forward, she's got another 36 PT appointments, more doctor's appointments, and so on. This timeline we went through, I'm not going to go through it in detail again. However, I think what's key is there's an argument that between the time that Dr. Hartman just saw her in September and the past year, you heard counsel say, oh, she's doing fine, everything's fine for that year until the infection happened. You heard Vicki saying, and her family, this pain has not changed. It's been staying all throughout 2017. Dr. Hartman just said in September 2017, come see me in a year, but you're going to deal with pain. And in fact, when she saw Dr. Downing in December of 2017, he said it's still hurting. And then when she saw Dr. Baer in July of 2017, before, she said, I can't do these things, I can't sleep, it's still hurting. So it's not like things were great all of a sudden in this year before the infection. Nothing has changed in terms of her chronic pain and what was going on. I asked Dr. Hartman, you told her whether or not the surgery is successful in fully getting rid of the infection, is she still going to have chronic pain, even if they get rid of the infection? And he says yes. I asked him, what is chronic pain to you? What's your definition, if you remember that? Chronic is unrelenting and constant, and day to day. That's the treating physician, no skin in this game, saying that this woman is going to have chronic, unrelenting pain day to day. And so I wanted to take Dr. Baer through the history. Right? This is her January, she's going to have the surgery, February, the antibiotics, March, the spacer, April, probably get the other surgery. Physical therapy will take her to 36 sessions 2 or 3 times a week. It's going to bring her to Halloween of next year of treating still. And of course, there's a lot of lifelong things she needs. Infectious disease, orthopedic doctor visits, pain medication going forward. This will go on until her life expectancy of about 2040. The 5 to 10 pound litigation, 5 to 10 pound limitation, I would argue that's not necessarily functional if you can't lift more than 5 pounds with your arm away from the body. That's not a good situation for any of us. 20 in near body, reduced range of motion. It affects your mood, it affects everything, Dr. Hartman said. Dr. Baer agrees she's going to have pain limitations going forward. And you don't know. This infection, we don't know for sure. And that builds a lot into anxiety, stress. Is this thing going to go away? What's in store for me? So for non-economic damages, I told you at the beginning of the opening statement, I believe a fair number for this, when you look at each of these things, which I think we've touched upon through the trial, and given evidence on each of one of these things, I don't need to rehash everything, I think a fair number for that, $500,000 for everything she's gone through for the last 3 years. I think for this next year, which is a disaster, what's nice about Vicki, she's not a woe is me, you know, she's going to put a smile on and do what she can, but it's going to be a nightmare dealing with this for the next year. So I think $750,000, at least for the next year and a half, for these 2 surgeries she's got to go through, the antibiotic spacer and all that, and then when you carry it out for the rest of her life, after this year, I think $750,000 for the next 21 years of her life to deal with the chronic pain limitations is fair. And that's $1.5 million, so $750,000 for this next year of incredible treatment, and then $750,000 beyond that. There's folks here that are comfortable with numbers, and so we need to think about this as this is a debt that Kroger, Rouse, owes to Vicki at this point. And how do we balance this out, right? What is fair? We can't make her arm 100%, but all we can do in the civil justice system is award reasonable damages for what she's going through and what she's going to need to. And I think one way, we can look at this to make some sense of it. I mean, even if you were to look at, let's give her 11 minimum wage, right? If you call this is really like a job for her, going to these 80 appointments, dealing with everything that's going on. If you took an $11 an hour minimum wage for the time that she's awake, dealing with the chronic pain and her limitations, and she's got 21 years left in her life, take the $11, times it by 17 hours, so you take off the sleep time. However, she told you she gets woken up in the middle of the night even when she's sleeping. But let's just take out the sleep time. You're at 187 a day, 68,255 a year. You multiply that by 21 years, and you're at 1.4 million for her future from today on. So I think when you look at it in that, it's really not an unreasonable amount. And I don't know who would trade everything that she's going through for the rest of her life and that the doctors say she's going to deal with for $1.4 million for pain and suffering, $1.5 million going forward for the rest of her life. So again, in your verdict form, $10,000 for lost earnings, $20,000, $53,000 for lost earnings. In the future, $282,000 for the meds, $500,000 for pain and suffering for the last 3 years, and $1.5 million for all future. I think that's a reasonable amount for everything she's gone through to get her on the right path and to compensate her what's just for everything that's gone on. She did nothing wrong, and I think you'll do what's fair. Thank you.